Welcome to 𝐂𝐓𝐇𝐄𝐑𝐄𝐔. We talk about investing, finance, and professional. So current time of 9:02 a.m. on Eastern time on August 26th on Friday. Ethereum $100,686, that about 0.56% so far. Respect to over crypto market and equity market on this Friday morning so far, ahead of obviously the Jackson Hole speech. It seems like the market is not really doing much. It's not going up or down a little bit. But if you look at that on a holistic weekly spectrum, obviously we're still down, right? We've had basically, if you count today to be a red day, we've had like a 4 red day so far with 1 green day yesterday. More of a normalization, right? But nothing really, due to any specific macro or micro affectation. It's just the market has been pending on the verbiage from Jerome Powell, and obviously with respect to the inflationary data that we received this morning. So we got fresh off the press this morning. So let's just look into the numbers to see how are we triangulating. But obviously the psychology is already being depicted onto the charts and the price point that we're seeing. So on a high level perspective, on personal consumption expenditure, which is one of the Fed's reserve's favorite inflationary indicator, it seems like it slipped slightly on a monthly basis in July and was up less than a year than anticipated. And with respect to inflation, its measure fell by 0.1% in July and was up 6.3% on the year. And it was expected that the PCE index would be unchanged on a monthly basis, and it's up 6.4% on the year. And also, if you look at like more deeply, let me just move my mic to make sure you guys can hear me better. The report also showed that personal income ticked up less than expected, up 0.2% month over month versus an estimate 0.6%. Is one of the reports that the Fed will be watching ahead of the September meeting, when it's likely to raise the interest rates again. So it seems like the report's kind of how would you say, not really up or down. It's been kind of trending in the right direction in a way. There's still a lot of question marks around, like, with this report, right? It's not really knock out the park positive, nor completely bankrupt negative. It's just kind of just like okay, right? It's like more of like a C plus B minus type of report, right? But ultimately, the main driver that based on the psychology of the chart right now is still pending on Powell's speech. But if you look at like some of the media front, on the news, it seems like a lot of depictions around the what they are expecting Jerome to be talking about today in the Jackson Hole conference is that Powell is not likely to be giving investors what they want to hear. They're not really going to give us like any juicy information, which makes sense, right? Because they're still working on the report. They're still working on crunching the numbers, so nothing is really confirmatory yet. So what I believe, and I think it makes sense, like he might just say something that is aligned with what we've learned so far, and just like more of a regurgitation or reinforced type of fashion. So if that was the case, right, we should ideally see a green day, ahead for today, because of the fact that whenever you hear like just lack thereof in terms of negative news, or positive news, just neutral. Look at on the holistic spectrum for this week so far. 4 days have been red out of one day yesterday was green. It should collectively convey more of I would say a spectrum of consolidation, or leaning more towards the upside. If it's just more neutral, just psychologically thinking, right? So I think today, if he doesn't say anything crazy, and again we have to watch out for it. We're basically 55 minutes away from the speech. We should convey some positive signal ahead. So let's just dive into the technical to see what's going on. Apologies for a little bit of rambling here and there. I'm cooking breakfast at the same time like doing a video, but I'll do this relatively quick. So it's cooking, so I hope I don't burn my my breakfast. So with respect to recording time of 9:07 a.m. on the Eastern time on Friday, we are at 1700 basically, not up or down. So next level up is going to be obviously 1750, right? Level down will be 1650. And where do we see us going more, right? I think in the short term perspective, again, on a daily, right, as we get over this hump, we should ideally see more upside ahead of us, right? You could see that clearly we need to kind of cross up. We're quite depleted and we still have some room to run up to. So ideally seeing maybe even 1860, and that will be like the high peak of it. 2000, I think that will be unlikely. And then if you look at that on a weekly, you could see that we are bearish. So what this really means again, right, is basically confirm what we've been talking about so far, right? In the short term, we should see a slight pump, but weeks out, right, as we shift onto September, as we possibly gonna be hearing a CPI report, FOMC meeting, those are conveying more of a sensitive time frame, that I has a high probability that it will actually drive the market to go down on a weeks out, because it is trending in more of a bearish trend, but monthly it is looking quite bullish, right? So again, right, so what this really means again, right, daily is looking quite bullish, right? It looks like we should convey some positivity in the next couple of days, or even a week out maxed. But weeks out, right, as we shift onto the mid of September, we should ideally see deep red going forward, knowing the fact that this is a head and shoulder pattern. A peak is right here at 2031. There's a secondary peak, and then the third peak that looks like we're forming in front of our eyes right now. So something to think about, right? And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, right? This might not be a head and shoulder pattern, but it looks like very much like it, right? And then on Bitcoin, you could see that obviously we have broken the wedge that we've formed, so we kind of just consolidate, gliding on a sideways fashion. On a daily, it looks quite bullish, right? We're still sustaining above the $20,000 level. And then on a weekly, let's look at it. They look quite fused together, so it's not really up or down, so it's quite neutral, but still leaning more towards the upside, right? And then on a monthly, you could see that clearly, quite bullish, right, on the technical front. So what that really means is that Bitcoin should ideally be, pretty much bottom out. I don't see Bitcoin to be reaching like very much lower levels, like 15,000. I think that will be unlikely. But for Ethereum, that's a different story. It seems like they are separating the trends. And Ethereum is no longer trading alongside with Bitcoin. They're very different charts collectively. And it seems like all the other altcoins are kind of following Ethereum in terms of its momentum and its technical characteristics as well. So quite interesting, right? So I would say if you want to follow through, also like Ethereum seems like it's slowly becoming like the leader of the overall market. So if you want to take a look at the technical, understanding of the equity market as well on the index front, I think Ethereum is a good reference point, which makes a lot of sense based on the way it's trading. Bitcoin is a little bit different for some reason. I'm not sure exactly why that is, but but again, right, more stale, more static on Bitcoin, but more volatility ahead for Ethereum. But again, right, just to recap, daily looks quite bullish, weekly looks quite bearish actually, monthly looks bullish. So collectively, as you ride out this September, ideally going into Q4, you should see higher greens up from here. Okay, so I'm gonna go get my breakfast. Hope you guys have a good day as well, and I'll check you on the next one. Take care. Bye.